Welcome to another episode of Unscripted Agenda. Today, the podcast is dedicated to exploring the unseen dynamics that shape our understanding of the world. I'm your host, Sami, and today we're going to explore subjects that subtly affects our perception of reality, our engagement with media, and our self-image, the influence of advertisement placement on media perception. Advertisements are everywhere. From billboards lining busy streets to digital banners on our mobile devices, and even the discrete integration of products within our favorite television programs. The pivotal question we must consider is, in what ways do these advertisements impact the television content we consume? And our lives too. So there are, I would say, three categories of persuasive media content. Before going into the intricacies of product placement and media influence, we have to first give a couple categories. And there's three main types of persuasive devices, I'd say, that are present in media. So these were recognized by a scholar called Y.V. Lakshma, who identified these in print media, which is relevant to TVs and films, basically all the media we consume. So this first includes advertisements, which is pretty straightforward, to be honest, just kind of placing a product and promoting it. There's intentional advocacy content. So this is kind of everything that includes editor cartoons and opinion pieces and interpreted articles that don't just tell you about a product but kind of drive you to it too. And the third one, which is the most covert and very, very subtle, is entertainment or informational content with persuasive element. So this is basically a news report, for example, that would be present a narrative in a certain way, or how a television program might kind of subtly endorse specific lifestyle choices that align with a company, for example, or I don't know, just a government to steer you in a certain direction. So my main focus today is going to be the third category, because I think this is the most
because this one has the most influence and
power. It's the more nuanced and frequently neglected intersections of media and advertising that we tend to just ignore and not really think about. So we will examine how this kind of manifests in television, to be honest, like how they show it, how you perceive it, how you can tell. So the first is the subtle art of influence. So one of the most effective strategies by advertisers is the incorporation of branded items into kind of the storyline and the narrative, that you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's basically a product placement. It would just kind of look like it's part of it. And this approach it doesn't just go to displaying a logo or a product. It kind of involves embedding almost an item into a story that kind of makes it part of the story. Like, you want to be part of the story, so you see the item in the story. So a lot of times reality TV does this, particularly programs like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, The Real Housewives. They're not only entertainment, but they also have a lot of advertisements. So it's like the cars they drive, the houses they own, the clothes they have, everything is for sale. Everything is for sale. So that is because they are kind of weaved all of these items into the storylines, and they've made it basically a story to sell. And a notable quote from the Truman Show, that even the Christoph, which is the director of the Truman Show, in the Truman Show, he says everything on the show is for sale, from the actor's wardrobe, food products, to the very houses they live in. Which basically, this statement kind of explains how real life is, to be honest. And it just basically really encapsulates that the whole of it, of how we live
this
in our modern
product
society.
placement.
So now we're going into consumerism. This product placement, it's not just about advertising, it's about changing your identity. So they make you think about a certain life that you wouldn't necessarily want to aspire to, but they kind of embed the fact that you have to now aspire to this life. Like, this is how the greater good of the people, this is how you should be living, this is how you should be wanting to live. And they kind of embed that idea into our heads and give us a very consumerist kind of ideology, which helps them sell their products. And this is how they get you, folks. So what happens when you live in a commercialized world where everything is commercialized? When media becomes something constantly driven by consumerism, it's not just about products, it's about shaping people's views and kind of basically manipulating them, just manipulation into kind of gradual way media shapes our desires, beliefs, just basically making us all aspire to one thing that they have made us want to aspire to. Okay, so what can we do about all of this, folks? We can be more aware. We can recognize product placement and make smart decisions. We can kind of ask ourselves some questions. Who's trying to sell me something? What messages could be hidden here? What ideas would they want to be embedding? But, I mean, at the end of the day, some of the people do it really, really well, so might not be able to recognize it. But just try to keep a lookout. But thanks for joining me today on basically the more media and advertisement side of the Truman Show. Until next time.